Most people are familiar with the Punch-Out series as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is one of the most iconic games released on the regular Nintendo. But did you know Sega published its own Punch-Out clone on the Genesis and 32X? Toughman Contest was released mid-1995 to solid reviews. But is this legitimately a good game? Let's find out. This is Retro Impressions and Reviews, a show dedicated to answering if video games from the past are still worth your time today. Toughman Contest, a game based on the real-world competition of the same namesake. So what exactly is this contest the game is based on, and who the heck is this dude on the game's cover? The Toughman Contest was first held in 1979 and is only open to amateur fighters that live within a predetermined radius of the event location. The matches consist of 3 fast and furious 1-minute rounds. Matches can be won by points, knockout, or technical knockout. Heading into the early 90s, one fighter was gaining worldwide attention due to the way he dominated these matches, winning by knockout almost every time. The man was Eric Esch. Eric had been working a factory job decking floors for manufactured homes when he entered the contest on a dare. There was one major issue, however. Eric weighed 20 pounds more than the 400-pound weight limit. In order to reach the qualifying weight, a restricted diet of butter beans and chicken was put in place, and it worked. By the time he fought his first match, it was well known among his friends that he had come to despise the butter beans that had helped him reach his weight. His friends, knowing his hatred for the diet, would poke fun at him during his fights, calling him Butter Bean. The name stuck, and this is what the world knows him as today. He would go on to win the competition numerous times before being told he could no longer enter the contest and needed to turn pro. Butterbean would go on to appear in many video games, WrestleMania, become the IBA Super Heavyweight Champion, and appear in many movies and TV shows. It might seem like an odd choice of license for a game from the outside looking in, but upon further inspection, it appears to be chosen due to a convenient coincidence. You see, the match rules for Toughman are near identical to the match rules used in Punch-Out. Both consist of 3 rounds total that amount to 1 minute of real time each. So here we have Toughman Contest, the video game. It shares a similar in-game camera perspective as the original Punch-Out. Also shared with Punch-Out is nearly identical match pacing. And it's all rather convenient because these are the rules of the real competition, so upon its release, one would have been hard-pressed to say that this was strictly a clone. Getting into the game, there are 3 modes to choose from. Exhibition lets you compete in a single or 2-player game. Tournament allows for competitive gameplay with up to 8 players. And finally, the meat and potatoes, enter Toughman. This mode is just as you might expect. Pick a region to fight in, pick a fighter, then pick 3 of the 14 available special punches to use in the upcoming match. With your fighter selected, you start the competition by facing the bottom-ranked fighter and working your way to the top. It's not a bad idea, but the minuscule difference from fighter to fighter, along with allowing all fighters access to the same special moves, eliminates the possibility that any fighter might stand out for anything other than their looks alone. The difficulty creep from fight to fight is gradual, and you are given a password at the start of each match that allows you to keep trying for as many times as it takes to get the win. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I'll take any save or password feature I can get. When you reach the top-ranked fighter, the venue will change from the region you started in to Las Vegas. Beat the top-ranked fighter and you will immediately face Butterbean. Toughman Contest is the first game to feature Butterbean, and it came at an interesting time. He had just turned pro, but was still working his factory job upon the game's release. He is the final fighter you will face in order to beat the game and win the competition. If you can take down the incredibly tough Butterbean, you will have beat the game. And this is total disappointment, as its ending might be the worst one I know of on the 32X or Genesis. And nothing is offered beyond that. When it's over, The game restarts with nothing new offered and no reason to play again outside of seeing all the fighting arenas. In total, there are 5 unique arenas, 4 regional ones, and Las Vegas. I feel rather conflicted as we're given more than one location to fight at, and they're all quite well done, but I would have liked more than the 5 we received since different fighting venues are part of this game. Something I really enjoyed was included game contents. The manual is solid, detailing special moves, fighter bios, and giving a brief bio for the game's programmer, Tim Meeks. In addition, the 32X version came with a really nice quick reference card detailing exactly how each special punch is performed. Typically, I would look at some common complaints, but this game is talked about so little and was fairly well reviewed upon its release that it's hard to find problems that are mentioned in common. That doesn't necessarily mean that the game is without flaws though, so let's go over some. First and foremost, I think it's important to address this annoying flicker that's on screen. Admittedly, my copy hadn't been played in nearly 20 years, so I figured it might need a good cleaning. I took the 32X version out and put in my Genesis copy, and the same flicker was present. Now, I was unsure if it was my copies that had problems, the system that had a problem, or the game itself that had the issue. So onto YouTube I went to find gameplay footage, and lo and behold, it was present there as well. So yes, it's annoying, and yes, it's part of the game. My next issue is with the blocking mechanic. This game can be quite frustrating at times, specifically when it comes to blocking. Time and again, I would input the command to block or dodge only to have my fighter not block or dodge as I requested. I actually did find additional complaints regarding this issue online and feel without a doubt it's valid. This game is fully dependent on rapid button inputs and special boxing moves that must be pulled off via a specific button combination. It's poorly implemented and you're gonna have sore hands after about an hour of gameplay. I also think it's ludicrous that this game didn't utilize a 6-button controller and assigned the 3 special moves to X, Y, and Z. This is a game released well after the 6-button gamepad and released on the 32X. For freaking crying out loud, the 32X, and it doesn't utilize the 6-button controller. As it is, some of these required inputs are quite time consuming when you consider one round lasts only 1 minute. These moves also use the D-pad, the same input used for blocking and dodging. Overall, it's an awful idea for a boxing game where speed, timing, and reflexes are key. Finally, I find the camera perspective to be quite terrible. It can be hard to see your opponent and their movements clearly as your fighter is often in the way. So what exactly is different from the Genesis to the 32X version? Well, let's take a look. The opening sequence has been changed. The sound has been slightly improved, and I do mean slightly. The stage backgrounds have been changed, although I wouldn't really call it an improvement. The Genesis had 5 unique ring girls, that's 1 ring girl for every unique region. The 32X only has 1, that's 1 ring girl across all 5 regions. And that's about it. Not a whole lot of changes and really some dumb choices in regard to things that were changed. With the exception of the sound, I really feel that they were all made worse coming to the 32X. Still, I don't find enough change or variation to make one worthy of recommendation over the other. My final score, 4 out of 10. In the end, this is what you get when you combine an arcade boxing game with the control scheme of a 90s fighter. The game is okay, and depending on who you are and what appeals to you, you might even enjoy it for more than 30 minutes. I personally found this to be rather bland and mostly unmemorable. It's missing many of the things that could have made this a decent game, such as custom fighters, weight classes, and real variation in the fighters it contained. I was a huge boxing fan growing up and have owned and played every boxing game released on this stack of systems. I purchased this game when it was released in hopes that it would be another boxing gem, but it became known in my house as crappy Punch-Out! 20 years later, and my feelings really haven't changed. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a positive or negative comment letting me know your thoughts. Click subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I'm Jenovi, and this has been Retro Impressions and Reviews.